again, Cryptomaniacs, and how are you tonight? My name is Johnny Crypto with a K, and I'm wishing you guys all a great day. So tonight I am joined by our lovely, lovely guest, Jenna, and welcome back to Late Night Crypto. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. And we have two special guests that I'm excited to talk about tonight, Jenna. So we have first, we have not one, but I said two superstar guests in the house. They've wrestled in WWE, NWA, TNA, Ring of Honor, and many, many other places. So we have first the 7-time women's champion, Angelina Love, in the house. That's right. 7 times.
Up?
And we have a 15-time, that's what I say, 15-time champion, PJ Black, with us tonight to chat about the latest news in crypto as well. So, guys, please give me a warm welcome to both our guests tonight. But before I hop into all the topics, I want to kick it around the room and see how everybody's doing. So, Angelina, we'll start with you first. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And how are you feeling tonight, kiddo?
Well, it's good to be back. I guess I'm now a reoccurring guest.
Yes,
at this point. I love it. Everything's great. Busy, but doing well. Happy to be back. Good to see you guys.
Well, that's awesome. We're happy to have you back too. And we know you've been through some stressful times, and hopefully now onto some good times.
Oh, yeah.
And with that said, we've got the 15-time, 3-time WWE Tag Team Champion in the house. PJ Black, how you doing tonight, buddy? How you feeling? And thank you for joining us tonight.
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me. It's always a fun time talking technology and wrestling. So let's see how this goes.
I love you said wrestling. I love that. Wrestle.
And speaking of wrestling, how is my lovely co-host, Jenna, looking lovely as always? How are you doing? How are you feeling tonight, kiddo?
I'm feeling freaking awesome. Like, how cool is this? We have these two amazing rock star wrestlers in the house with us who also share the same passion in Web3, crypto, NFTs, all of that cool stuff. But, you know, I have to say thank you to PJ, too, for actually replying back to me, because I thought that he was going to think I was a scammer when I reached out to him. And I'm like, he's never going to answer me back, ever. So when he did, I was like, holy shit. So I tried to keep my fangirl to myself. So thank you for reaching out, Angelina. Thank you so much for coming back on. I'm stoked.
Well, that is awesome. And Jenna, I am stoked too to have everybody here tonight. It is super exciting. But tonight, let's hop into and see what the markets are doing. So we're going to bring up the first, we'll start with the crypto bubbles. Let's see what the market is looking like tonight. So we've got a lot of red out there in the crypto space. However, let's see exactly what's happening there. So yeah, we got a couple fans out there. Obviously, they know who PJ Black was in the WWE. But as we move into the markets here, we look at that beautiful Merlin page. We can see there that BTC sitting around 26,000. We got a green day today, Jenna. We got Ethereum at 1845. We got Binance Coin at $261. We've got XRP, our beloved XRP, at 52 cents. We got Solana at 18, Matic 78 cents. And let's scroll on down here to Atom at $9.43. So, you know, in the markets, we've got, you know, it was a little bit of a rough week, Jenna. You know, we saw that the SEC came crashing down, and we saw a dip. You could see the dip right here. Everybody says, hey, Johnny, are you buying the dip? So, Jenna, I'm going to put that question to you. Did you buy the dip?
I have no money left to buy the dip. Like, I joke because I have a seal PFP, and I'm like, yo, I will sell flipper picks for XRP right now. But the thing is that I want to watch is some of these cryptocurrencies, and we'll get into it later, that are listed as securities. I'm going to watch for them to come down even more, because we saw what happened with XRP through this whole 2-year just being drug out, nothing happening. And we know that it did not reach its all-time highs like for the next bull run. So, you know, I'm kind of just really seeing how cheap I can scoop up some of these other cryptos, but I'm not going to get a ton of them, because if they're going to be drug out for 2 years, it just doesn't seem like a good play for me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And everybody wants to know, are you buying the Gensler dip? Gensler's giving us opportunities. PJ, maybe you want to talk a little bit about what you think. What are you looking at, you know, in these days in crypto? Are you buying, you holding, you selling? How are you playing this the space right now?
Yeah, I'm kind of just holding back to see what's happening, you know, like to me, all the others are securities, you know, like Bitcoin's a digital commodity. Everything else to me is a security. I mean, we'll see what the SEC says. They'll probably just keep changing the definitions of these things. They're going to probably try and push through Ethereum as a digital commodity. We'll see. I mean, we've seen like the last few years what they've done, right? They changed the meaning of words, so who knows where this is going to go. I don't really buy a lot of it. I mine crypto. I used to mine Ether, and when it switched to proof of stake, now I just mine purely Bitcoin and just hodl that. But I mean, I do like to play around with all this stuff. I like playing around with all these meme coins. Like I like following it. I'm a day trader, right? So I stare at the charts all day.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Well, if the SEC's hiring, Gary Gensler would be happy to have you. He's looking for people that want securities for anything. Anyone who says crypto security, Gensler would be very happy to have you. I'm sure, PJ. So we'll keep him on the list. But as we go, Angelina, how are you feeling tonight? And what do you think? How are you playing the space right now? Buying the dip, holding? What are you doing?
It's hard not to buy the dip. I did scoop up some algo today.
Ooh,
at 12 cents.
Yes.
Because my average was 44. So
Nice.
my average is 44 cents. So I got it at 12 today to kind of bring my DCA down. But yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I got it ready. I just scooped up some algo today. Not surprised to see all the red. I feel like we're kind of used to that at this point, where it's like, like I get little notifications on my phone from like Uphold and like Robinhood and stuff, like this is up and it's like every day or every other day. Every crypto that I have is up 5% and then down 5% and then up 5% and down 5%. And I'm just glad I'm really not like emotionally attached to my cryptos. Otherwise I'd probably be going mental.
That's actually a really smart way to play it. And take a look at this algo chart sitting at 42 cents up here a year ago. And here we are, Angelina down at 12 cents. I would say that's a really good time. Again, guys, not financial advice. We're not financial advisors, but that's a damn good time if you're going to DCA in at 12 cents. And we all saw what happened with XRP when Gensler came out, or when the SEC came out and sued them, right? Knocked them down from 70 cents to 17. And we saw that about a week or 2 weeks ago, they came out and said, hey, algo, or maybe it was a little more. Yeah, maybe it was a little longer than we go. They said algo's a security, and you just saw it crash. And again, to me, it's just potentially another buying opportunity. But
yeah, it is, Johnny, because think about it. You know damn well, and we know Gensler gave his speech, but they're coming after these big blue chips because they know that they can pay them. That's where the big money is. And obviously, they'll get their money. They're not worried about the little guys right now, and then they're just going to keep on going. So it is a great opportunity. That was smart.
I feel like Gensler has a wall with all the cryptos on it, and then each day he just takes a dart and it's like boop, and he's like, "Oh, we're suing them today."
Angelina, you weren't supposed to tell the world how the SEC works. That was off the air.
I gave it away.
All right, world. There you go. You have it. Go ahead, PJ.
I mean, it's kind of hilarious because he understands this stuff better than most people, right? I mean, he used to give classes at MIT on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And blockchain, like he understands this stuff completely. It's almost like someone else is pulling the strings, telling him what to do, almost. Because I don't know, you guys watched that court case where they were asking him questions, and he was like, well, and he was like just giving the most ridiculous, elongated answers that didn't make any sense. And I mean, this guy knows exactly what this technology is and how it works. So I don't know. I feel like someone else is telling him what to do.
You nailed it right on the head, PJ. If you listen to this guy talk, he was so pro crypto when he was teaching in MIT, and literally it's embarrassing to some degree for him because the hypocrisy is off the charts. If you go watch any of his recorded videos, you see how he talks about this use cases for algo, use cases for XRP. This is not a security. That's not a security, right? And then all of a sudden, complete 180. All of a sudden, and now everything's a goddamn security except Bitcoin. And so, again, it makes you ask the question. Who's pulling the strings here? Because we're just seeing, I call him like, you guys ever watch Batman? You know, they got Harvey Dent. He's got the two faces, two-face. That's Gensler. You got the pro-crypto or you got the anti-crypto, But PJ, before we hop into our stories, we know, it'd be really interesting. Maybe you could tell us your story. How did you get into crypto?
I'm a futurist, right? So I predict technology trends. Like I love technology. I've always been a fan of technology. I was a teenager when the internet came out. And I remember like back then banging the table. I was telling everyone this is going to change our lives. This is amazing. And everyone was like, I don't really see it. You can't really monetize it. You can't do shopping on it yet. Like, why would you talk to strangers online? And I was like, no, you guys just wait and see. And I feel like that's what blockchain is, right? It's it's a completely new technology that's going to change our lives forever. I mean, all these little things, they have completely different use cases, you know, like take Bitcoin to Ethereum, all completely different things. Like I wouldn't even like wrote Bitcoin into this. Sure, it uses cryptography and it's a blockchain, but it's you know, it's backed by so like energy. Like just if you understand the mining process, it's something completely different. But I mean, all these technologies have a place in the world, I think, and they're all going to change our lives so much. I think in 2012 when I heard about Bitcoin and I was about to buy some, but at the time I was making millions of dollars. So I was like, who cares about this thing? And I didn't really take the time to study this technology and how it works. And I remember being at a house show and Kane talked me out of it. So I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
What?
No, Kane, what did he say to you?
Maybe I don't even remember. I mean, he didn't really talk me out of it. Like someone asked him about it, what his thoughts were, and he's a very intelligent guy, incredibly smart. And I remember him just laying out the facts, and my music hit, and I had to go to the ring. And when I came back, I was like, I was just like, okay, well, if Kane doesn't like it, then that's probably not good. Because at the time, you know, I mean, he's an incredibly smart dude.
Has he since changed his mind?
Yes. I haven't spoken to him in years, so I wonder if he's changed his mind. Like, you know, like, I mean, even Michael Saylor changed his mind. In the beginning, Michael Saylor hated it. And all these people, once you take the time to study it and see how it works, then you get it, you know, like you have to spend at least 100 hours understanding Bitcoin. It's so complex and it's something completely different, like I said, to everything else. So I wonder what his thoughts on this stuff is now. Maybe try get him on the show.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
We might need your help with that.
Yeah. If you know a friend or a connection, see if you can pull on those connections and see if you can hook us up. That'd be great. We'll bring all three on. But you know, you're right about that. Whereas, you know, a lot of people, it is a very complex space, and a lot of people don't understand it. They don't understand that Bitcoin's completely decentralized, and everything else, you know, is primarily centralized to some degree with some kind of ICOs and things like that. So, but then that's really what we're seeing a big discussion about right now is what is the security and what isn't. And Jenna, I know you've got a bunch of topics tonight, so why don't we pull one of those up, get started, and we'll talk about. So tonight we're actually going to go through, guys. Excuse me, a number of different topics for you guys. We've got geared up for you. And so we'll be talking. Whoops, hang on a second. Sorry about that. We're going to be talking about the SEC, and they've named 76 cryptos as security. Also, they're cracking down on Coinbase and Binance. We're going to talk about this news we heard today. Gary wanted the job at Binance. What? Yes, it's true. We'll share some XRP model pricing with you guys. We'll get your thoughts. We'll talk about the top brands that love crypto, and we'll end the show with WWE Money in the Bank prediction. So with that said, Jenna, I'm going to kick it over to you. And
all right. Will you throw up my screen for me so I don't get the weird thing?
There you go.
All right. Can you see it?
Yes, we can. You're good to go.
All right. SEC lawsuit. 67 cryptocurrencies are now seen as securities by the SEC. And do you guys remember whenever Brad Garlinghouse was like, you're going to see 99% of crypto disappear? I think that he was, you know, predicting something that's coming very, very true right now, guys. So these are a lot of the big blue chip, a total number of cryptocurrencies that Gary is saying are a security. It's now estimated at 67. So we have obviously BNB because we know they're going after Binance, and we're going to bring that up. Solana, Cardano. So sorry, you're going to have to fight. I think we're all going to have to pull together on this. Like all of the big companies are going to need to come together to fight. Polygon, Cosmos, Decentraland, Axie Infinity. There's more. I mean, it goes through a whole entire list. Obviously, we know XRP is one. Flow, Chiliz, Voyager, Near, guys, Nexo. And then the list goes on and just continues. If you want to pull all this up, you can, but we know the algos in this. Those were some of the bigger ones. But yeah, I'm going to kick it over to you guys. What are your thoughts on this? Like what they're doing? Do you think that they even alerted these companies that like, hey, and that they just found out through this paper? Do you think some of them have known and not released it? What are your thoughts? Johnny, we'll kick it with you.
Yeah. So, you know, first of all, when you look at these, we're not talking about like meme coins here. a lot of these are, some of these are within the top 10. You're talking Cardano, Solana. We're talking about blockchain technologies here and cryptocurrencies that actually have real world solves here, Jenna. And so to me, that's what's really frustrating is that it's almost almost anything and everything right now is a security right now, right? And I think that's what Gary's trying. And that's not to say that when a coin first launches, the way the rules are written, it can launch as a security and then it can morph over into a commodity, which is what the argument is today with XRP, right? And a lot of other coins where, yes, when it first launched, okay, it was security. You can do that within a year or two, but then you have to switch over. And I think that's what's frustrating here is a lot of these have kind of made that shift into more now of being less centralized and more decentralized and more of a use case and not really a promise of guarantee, on somebody else's effort, but yet they're still being classified as security. So to me, it is very frustrating, and and I don't blame Gary. Everybody hates Gary. They're bashing Gary. You got to understand, Gary's a cop. Gary's saying, hey, my job is to enforce. The real problem here, in my opinion, and I'll kick it around the room and see if you guys agree or disagree, but this falls on our legislators. Congress has to set our rules, right? They define what the rules are, and then the three-letter agencies go in and basically police or enforce them. And I think the rule that everybody's going off is something that was done in 1946, okay? That's a problem because nobody was thinking about cryptocurrency in 1946, right, PJ? But yet we're trying to govern this space by 1946 rules.
They're clear. Exactly. They're clear.
Yeah, just come on in, Gary says. Come on in.
That's a good point. To me, they're all securities. And it's because, like you said, like that Howey test is from the 40s. So, I mean, it doesn't really equate for digital assets or digital commodities or whatever, right? So I think that's what needs to change, because if you go according to the Howey test, all of them are securities except for Bitcoin. So I think that the problem here is the way they define that. The problem here is the Howey test. We need a new way of doing things, like technology moves forward. Like, why are we using this outdated model to see if something is a security or not? I think that's the biggest problem here. That's what we got to change. Like, we need proper regulation, right?
I couldn't agree with you more, PJ. We are we're playing in a space or trying to play in a space that has rules that were written in 1946 for technology that was developed in the 1990s. How do you do that, Angelina? How is it possible? And why haven't our congressmen, why hasn't anybody said, hey, we got a new technology, we need to put new rules in place? Why can't our government do that, Angelina? Any thoughts?
Probably because nobody has any idea what it's really about. And like when I look at that, it's like the iPhones, like every 3 years, like a new iPhone comes out. It's just like a new iPhone and a new iPhone, and the old ones are trash. And it's like, well, how come we're still, on this thing that was built in the 40s and being like, yep, this is the way we got to go. When it's like an iPhone can't even last 3 years in this time that they're being made, So, I mean, I feel like that article right there just kind of backs up my like throwing darts at a wall on like what cryptos they're going to have a problem with today, because like in those articles, are they even saying like, these are the problem, like these are the cryptos that Gary Gensler says are secure, and here's why, or here's the reason why he's going after them? Or is it just like Algo and Cardano and Solana and blah, 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 just cuz?
I think it comes down to which company was going to hire Gary or not hire Gary. I think that's where he's decided. I think, I don't know, Jen, don't we have an article on this tonight of Gary?
Absolutely.
Does it just come down to who wants to hire Gary? Maybe is that can we get some insights there? What could be happening?
Absolutely. Throw it up the screen.
All right. Here we go.
I mean, before he got the job at the SEC, he applied for the job at Binance, right? And he didn't get it. So maybe that's why he's so sour. That's why he's hitting them so hard.
There it is right there.
Gary has small dick energy. I can say that right now. Do you have
he's got that Mr. Smithers energy. Or Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns.
It's funny, he looks just like him. But Jenna, we learned today that not only does Gary have two faces, Gary actually has a identical twin. Did you know that?
Wait, what?
We just uncovered it today. So now we're trying to figure out, maybe the guy that was working at MIT isn't the guy that's sitting at the chair. It might be his brother. This is what we're trying to figure. Yeah,
stop. This is too much.
Yeah, Good Morning Crypto. We broke the news.
This is too much.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's true.
That's
can
two
track them.
Ginslers too many.
I had no
Too
idea. I had no idea.
Yeah, we
Listen,
didn't know either.
I think we're all open-minded enough on this show to believe in clones and doubles and
Yeah.
all those things too.
You never know these
Very,
days.
very
You never know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right, let me see here. Do we have? Oh, I got my screen up. All right. So we have Johnny. I'm going to let you walk us through this one. SEC crypto crackdown. Obviously, we know right now, unless you've been living under a rock, the latest news is U.S. regulators sues Binance and Coinbase. And I'm going to let you take the floor on this, Johnny.
Yeah,
What's
so
going on?
basically we saw this week, obviously we know that there's been, we've all heard it, we've been telling you for a long time now that Operation Choke Point 2.0 is out there, right? And Gensler said it in 2023, they were going to be coming after crypto. Well, what better way to go after crypto than to do it? If you try to go after every single individual crypto like they did with XRP, they can't. Let's face it. Even the SEC doesn't have the resources, Jenna, to go after every single crypto. So what's the best way if you want to choke point it? How do you do it? Number one,
take out the big guys.
shut down the banks. What happened about a month ago? Remember in the news, what do we keep hearing about? All the banks got shut down. Silicon Valley Bank went down. Silvergate went down. Guess what? Those three banks were the three major on and off ramps for cryptocurrency exchanges, right? So step one, cut off the money supply. Step two, what do you do next? Go after the exchanges. Shut them down. Start beating them up, slapping them around. Give them an elbow drop or a knee drop or a Botox injection, right? And then forget about it. They're done. And so that's what's happening. And now you're seeing Operation Choke Point in full effect right now, Jenna. And so obviously we have this news, with both Coinbase and Binance, both got slapped a lawsuit. And so, I've been saying for a while that if these guys don't come together, if the enemy, they don't realize that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And we don't see Coinbase and Binance, PJ and Ripple coming together to fight the SEC, because we know the scale's imbalanced right now. Well, then these guys are just going to get picked off one by one, right? And that's what you're seeing happening here. What do you think needs to happen, PJ, for finally the scales to be tilted the other way?
I mean, let's go back a little bit here. To me, it almost feels like it's an organized, like a controlled demolition. I feel like this is all by design. I feel like they want to make these banks and these crypto exchanges crash so they can buy them for pennies on the dollar. I think the big banks are going to come in and swoop everything up. I mean, it just feels too orchestrated for me. Like why did remember what happened to FTX a while back, right? I mean, Gary Gensler had meetings with them. Sam Bankman-Fried paid off a bunch of politicians. He paid off a bunch of people in Congress, and none of them bothered to look into this company. That it's like pro wrestling. It's like a storyline playing out in front of our eyes. Like they literally like just, I don't know. That's how I see it play out. I think that this is all orchestrated by the banks. We know how vindictive and manipulative the big bankers in Wall Street are, and I think this is just exactly what they want. They want everyone to fight amongst themselves, and then they want everything to crash, and then they're just going to buy everything up at the end of the day.
Couldn't agree with you more. It totally feels that way. Almost, what do? You come in, create a problem, everything drops, and then you buy it for pennies on the dollar, right, Angelina? It almost feels like that narrative is happening in play today. Do you think in the long run, though, who do you think? So we know that when we have Yusko on the show, he always talks about the 4 stages of adoption, right? You've heard it all the time. You listen to. We talk about first stage, they laugh, they ignore you. Second stage, they laugh at you. Third stage, they fight you, which we're in right now, and the fourth stage, you win. They join you. Do you think so? Who do you think wins this battle in the end? Do you think, will crypto pull out? Will these exchanges win, or is crypto going to go down? Is it here to stay, or is it going to be wiped away?
No, I mean, I think it's here to stay. I don't think Gary Gensler is going to take down an entire technological space. But like just what PJ was talking about, it really does seem too orchestrated. Like everything is like, we all know that like the whole world's a movie, but sometimes it's just like, we're like at the bad part where it's like, it's so phony. Like I wouldn't be surprised if, at the end of what's that? The movie where the girl has the red shoes she's clicking together.
Oh,
the
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of
Wizard of
Oz. You know, when they just pull back
Kansas.
the curtain at the end and there's
Yeah.
somebody behind that. I would not be surprised if there's just somebody, one person just in charge of buttons and
Mhm.
switches, and that's just what like controls everything all day, because like just so much of it doesn't make
Mhm.
sense and it's too political. Like Gensler is like a politician, but it's
Yeah.
like he's not a politician. And I feel like crypto and the markets is so political now. They go hand in hand. So it's very like I still think the ISO ones are going to be okay. I feel like they're in those positions for a reason, you know. So I kind of have like a little bit of trust and faith in those ones. But you know, I dabbled in a little meme, but I made sure I was smart with like what I was doing with like my long-term investing.
Yeah, a little Pepe. Were you into that? Did you hop on
Didn't
that?
get into the Pepe, got into the Doge though under a penny.
Did you get into
God.
Jesus? I found Jesus and Bao. They're my favorite right now.
Did you find him on Mount Sinai? Where did you find Jesus? Where was he at?
Listen, I found
On the
Jesus
Pepe.
at the bottom, and I've watched him rise.
So if you don't believe me, there he is. There's Gensler's twin
Wow.
brother. Robert Gensler does exist. That's his brother. Yeah. So
He looks like an AI picture.
I don't know. They say it's him. They say it's really him.
What is T. Rao Price Group? I don't even know anything about that. What is
Kind of
that?
like an investment for like Charles Schwab, or I think it's something like that. Yeah. But there he is. There he is. Just so he does exist. He is out there, and so he does have a doppelganger, or I guess in this case a twin brother out there. But PJ, I feel you
need that.
no doubt. PJ, I feel your pain. By the way, I meant to tell you. You know, as you were talking that Kane story, I had a friend of mine, a partner who came to me in 2013. He said, "Hey, we should buy a couple of computers and mine Bitcoin." And you know, like son of a bitch, you know, something happened. We ended up doing something else, and we got off the topic. And it's kind of like you know, the bell rang kind of a thing. We didn't go back to it again. And kicking myself 10 years later. Imagine for an $800 computer that was server we were going to buy with the amount of Bitcoin we could have done. It's we all have those stories, but at the end of the day, you know what? I still feel though like this. At the end of the day, we're still here pretty early into this space. I mean, you go to the local store, you go tell your grandma or talk to your parents or your sister, or even your friends, and you know, ask them what XRP is or what Cardano is. They're going to look at you like you're got two ears growing on the side of your head. They don't understand what's happening yet. And it brings me back to like when Jenna was in diapers, you know, back then in the early 90s, PJ, where we were talking about, you know, this whole industry kind of happened with the internet shift and the internet boom as we start to came into this space, right? New technology, as Angelina pointed out, people don't understand it. Our Congress people don't understand. People understand it. So what's the first urge? Well, something you don't understand, what do? You tend to fight, you push back, and you kind of, you know, you don't want to, people don't like change, right? Most, you know, it's known fact, you know, people have a short attention spans and they don't like change. And that doesn't bode well. Now, there are few people, there are folks out there, I think, like early adopters that they want to get into the space. But do you kind of see, can you see the similarities of PJ, of what we saw back in the internet days to where we're going with crypto?
Yeah. It feels the same to me. It just feels, maybe I'm wrong, but it does feel the same to me, you know. But I mean, we were banging the table in like 94, 95, 97. Most people got dial-up, but it wasn't really until the iPhone came out, until you could carry the internet in your pocket, when everybody adopted it, because they made it easy, right? So the technology moves forward. So even if they're trying to stop it, they won't be able to stop it. They might be able to slow it down, but we got to make it easy for people, you know. Like once my grandma can use this stuff, then I think the adoption curve will go crazy. And if you look at the internet, right? I mean, that took about 10 years. And if you look at the technology, the S curve, we're going about 4 times quicker than that. If we just look at Bitcoin alone, they reckon we'll have like 1 billion users by 2028 or something like that, right? So it's going to take a while. It's going to take quite a while, I think. But I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to happen eventually.
What do you guys think, both Angelina and PJ, what will be the factor that brings the most people into crypto and where we begin to see like the most adoption? What do you think will kick that off?
I mean, I just think the lawsuit ending. I feel like everybody, because it's like every day someone else is getting picked off and sued and whatever. So they're like, everybody's just like, I just want to know what the rules are. I just want to have a clear set of rules so that I know that I'm following everything properly and nobody can come after me. And I think that everybody will kind of just like be nervous and off to the side until there's some kind of regulation or rules whenever that time comes. I think everybody will be like, oh, well, now it's fine. And now we can go into it. But I mean, I think a lot of businesses are like, geez, like you never know from one day to the next what's safe and what's not. So we're just going to hang back until we have a better idea.
Yeah, and it's also the not just the people, it's the like she said, the companies, right? So companies need clarity so they can be like, okay, if this is security or this is whatever it is, now we can build on it, and that's what we need. We need new layers built on top of this, like, right? So like if you look at the base layer of the internet, TCP/IP, no one really understood how that worked back in the day until we got. Remember when email came out, Johnny? Like you couldn't email from like AOL to whatever it was. I forget what were the first ones. You couldn't email back and forth until that technology came out, but no one knew what that technology is, right? And that's where we are right now. Like we have like all these different blockchains, and I feel like in the future they'll all be interoperable, right? And until that happens, then companies can build on top of that, and then adoption will happen.
PJ, I swear to God, you must watch Good Morning Crypto. I couldn't agree with you more. Totally been saying it that really the key enabler to the internet boom was TCP/IP. It was when it made my email system talk to your email system and my phone be able to talk to your phone. Everything in the background, which nobody cares about how that operates, came to life. And I've been saying the same thing right now about blockchains. For that to happen right now, you got a bunch of blockchains that are individual silos that aren't talking to each other. But when interoperability comes, and this is why I love things like Quant, things like Chainlink, they're working to bring that interoperability together. So you nailed it. You nailed that hammer, son bitch, right? Nail that nail right on the head with that. I couldn't agree with you more. Interoperability, I think, is going to be the key to two things will be the key to adoption. One, you have to have interoperability. Two, you have to have regulation and clarity, right? And we're in the midst of both happening at this space and time. Couldn't agree with you more. You nailed it spot on.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, Johnny, I think interoperable, yes, but also easy. Just like PJ was saying, holding up his phone, how simple things work. It has to be simple, but the narrative will change. It has to change. They're gonna be like, okay, after it's crypto bad, CBDC good. But the biggest thing is right now we're seeing all of these hacks. It has to be safe. So I mean, you have to think about it. Obviously, I want my grandma to be able to buy this if she wants to, or my parents, but they don't want to know how to use a decentralized wallet, and they don't know what's safe, what's going to get hacked. And that kind of leads me into our next article, which I'm going to bring up here if you want to pop that up for me, Johnny. And Johnny, I know that you know all about this, unfortunately, of what's going on right now. But guys, the Atomic Wallet was one of the latest hacks by North Korean hackers. And Johnny, you know a lot more about what's going on with this. Do you want to break it down for us?
Yeah, so I can unfortunately speak from firsthand perspective. I always wanted to be a 1%er, Jenna, but not this kind of 1%er. But unfortunately, for full disclosure, I was one of the 1% that got hacked this weekend in the Atomic Wallet. So as you may have heard, guys, Atomic Wallet was hacked over the weekend. $35 million was stolen of crypto from about 1% of users because these rat bastards, snake weasels, didn't have the right protections in place in their code. And so it let them come in through a backdoor, through an update, supposedly, and they're still trying to figure it all out. But, the funny thing, Jenna, is here they talked about, and we talked about, hey, there's ways to protect yourself. Everybody says, get yourself off the exchanges, get into hot wallets, get into cold wallets, right? And Atomic was one of the biggest wallets out there. 5 million users are using it. And they say, your keys, your coins. Well, guess what? My keys are written down on a piece of paper. It's folded 6 different times, and it's in the safe in the wall. Okay, so I don't even know my freaking own keys, but yet somebody hacked my account and took my crypto, and they told me my keys, my coins is a bunch of horse bullshit. Obviously, it doesn't matter. So no, there is no, and I agree with you totally. Until there's real safety in this space where people feel comfortable that they can put their hundreds or millions or even thousands of dollars into this space, that is always going to be a hindrance in this space PJ, floor is yours. I'm curious of your thoughts.
Yeah, so if you look at the trilemma in blockchain, right? I've been dabbling a little bit in coding myself. I've been learning JavaScript all week and Python and C++. Yeah, so if you look at the trilemma that we're trying to solve in blockchain, right? It's scalability, security, and decentralization. Now, you can only solve two of them. It's impossible to solve all three of those. So the company that tells you they can solve all three, they're lying to you.
They're lying.
So which three do you pick? Like, think about this. Like, if you most companies are in a hurry because they're newer blockchains, right? So they're going to give up either decentralization or security, right? Because they want the scalability, because they want to be able to build those layers on top of each other really quick. So these things are going to happen. So the atomic thing, like it's going to happen. It's like building a house on quicksand, right? You can build the coolest house you want, but you don't know when it's going to sink or not, right? So this is also why I'm such a big advocate for Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin solves decentralization and security. They gave up the scalability. That's why it's scaling so slow. That's why it's moving so slow. But in the long run, if there was going to be a winner, they'll win, right? So like it just comes back to that. Like, what are you trying to solve? Like Ether trying to solve too many things at once, and then now that's why the gas fees are so high, and you got to build more layers for security and more for scalability, and like it just keeps going, and every single layer causes more vectors for attack, right? That's why these things happen, and it's going to happen. It happens every time new technology comes out. It's going to happen over and over and over. So if you want to, it's fun to play around with these things and to see where it's going to go. But if you're trying to store billions of dollars and stuff, you want to build a house on the rocks, right? And that's why these billionaires choose Bitcoin.
Yeah, you nailed it spot on. There's an old saying. It says you can either be a jack of all trades, but then you're a master of none, right? And if you try to do too many things, you're not going to do anything right. And I think that's where, kudos to Bitcoin, where they realized, like, hey, we're going to give up scalability, but we're going to give you the decentralization protection. And by the way, there'll be layer twos that then can build up the scalability, for Bitcoin and, for that way. So there's ways to kind of.
And we have some really nice layers already. We see Lightning and LDN and Stacks.
Yep.
They're just moving slowly because it's so hard to build on it, So and you don't hear of these companies at all. Like everybody knows Lightning now, but like nobody knows really what Stacks is working on, what LDN is working on. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting space because once that scalability happens for Bitcoin, I feel like the other chains will kind of catch up too. So I think that eventually there'll be some kind of point, and who knows when that is, right? And that's why you said earlier we're in the fighting stage. We don't know how long this fighting stage is going to last. Let's hope when we come out of this fighting stage, all those will come together. And I mean, who knows how long that's going to take? My guess, educated guess, is like by like 2028, 2030, like we'll figure all these things out. But who knows?
You're right. That's interesting that you came up with that, because we had Mark Yosko on the show. He's runs a hedge fund, a couple $1 billion. And his projection was that the Then You Fight You stage would end around 2027, 2028. So, yeah, I think you guys are spot on. I could agree with you more. I think we are looking at a 3, 4, 5 year battle. But I also agree with you that when we get to the end of this battle, we're going to be in a much, much better place, because all the, I remember when so you guys are very familiar with Bluetooth, right? I'm a technology guy. Back when Bluetooth first came out, there were like 27 different Bluetooth alternatives back in 2001. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, Bluetooth ended up winning, became the major adopted one, and that is where we are today. The same thing's going to happen here with cryptocurrency. You got all these people battling, all these chains battling for a certain space. And I think, as we get through the fight stage, you'll only have 1, 2, 3 key leaders that kind of float to the top that form the layers of whether it's the cross-border functional payment system or whether it's, all these different solutions that blockchain can solve. I think you're going to see what that looks like a few years from now for sure.
PJ brought up something I wanted to add and touch on. Stacks. I just realized that they were, and I bought some of this a while ago. I think it was the OKC exchange or the OK wallet or something that I used, but it's actually a registered security. And if I'm not mistaken, is it on the Stacks blockchain where they're building city coins like Miami coin and stuff like that?
Yep, that's exactly it. So, and it's a weird layer too, right? It's not like LDN or Lightning, where it's like a layer on top of the blockchain. It's actually a blockchain on top of the blockchain. So it's just two blockchains talking to each other, but they use the Bitcoin base layer as settlement because it's the most secure one, right? it hasn't been hacked in 14 years, and it probably never will. So like a lot of companies want to build on top of it, but it's just so incredibly difficult. They have to like create their own software, basically their own language to build on top of it. And I looked into it to see what kind of language they use, and it's just so hard to understand. It's incredibly hard to understand.
Yeah.
Wow. I need to start looking into that more. I was told, and I don't know if it's true though, but to look out for the city coins, because anywhere where they're going to have a World Cup will have their own city coin.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we're going to start seeing, things playing like that, but I thought that
yeah.
was pretty neat.
I think they have like 3 city coins already on there. Like Miami has its own coin. They were the first. New York's busy working on it. And I think there's like 1 or 2 other places which aren't even in the US, so which is really cool. So even if Gary Gensler tries to regulate these things, all these companies will just go offshore. Like
that's actually what you're seeing, and we're seeing that happen, right? Brad has told us like literally 90% of Ripple's business they had to go offshore. We had Jeremy Hogan on the show, and he was saying, "Hey, I'm telling all my customers, I'm advising all my clients, don't do anything in the US right now. It's too risky because." Again, without that clarity, it's very, very hard. Who's going to plop down millions or billions of dollars in investment in something that's uncertain? There's no way these guys are going to do that. They're always managing risk. There ain't no way they're going to take that high risk. But PJ,
Jack Dorsey is he moved his whole company to Costa Rica. He moved all the programmers there because he's actually dedicating his whole life just to build on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense. By the way, did you say earlier that you were a programmer or you're getting into software developing or no?
Yes. I'm trying. I did a couple of tests this week. And it's incredibly difficult. I'm stuck in JavaScript. But what I really want to do is write APIs, because what I really want to do is write these layers for the blockchains, for like payment systems, and get into blockchain gaming eventually. That's my goal. Like gaming. I didn't realize this until recently. The gaming market cap is that of Hollywood and the music industry put together.
It's bigger. It's $350 billion is the gaming industry.
Right.
It's bigger than the movie industry.
Right. So can you imagine when some of those games go onto blockchain? It's going to be ridiculous. Like that market cap is going to blow everything out the water.
It's already happening. So like Gala, which is one of my favorite gaming plays, and Myra, both of those, play to earn. Imagine when kids could sit at home and play games and make money. What parents, I know, I yell at my kids all the time, get out of here, go get a job, get the hell out of the house, stop playing video games, right? But the reality is, when they can start earning money, like, Dad, I make more money than you playing video games. It's going to be hard for parents to push back and say, oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, well, you made $100,000 this year playing video games. All right, get your ass down there and keep playing.
They should do that with tutoring programs, honestly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, PJ, when you code the next big program, you need to hit up Kane. And be like, listen, I made my 300 mil now.
PJ, when you do get good at this stuff, just do me a favor. I need a hacker to get my shit back. So when you feel like you can recover, let me know. Because Atomic Wallet, they're horrible. They don't even communicate with us. So, so if you know a hacker and you become good enough, let me know.
That's a problem with a lot of these companies. Like think about this. How many cryptos are there right now? Like 20,000?
24,000. Yeah, 24,000.
Right. There's not even 1,000 CEOs that can run $1 million or $1 billion company on this planet. There's no way. So how do you think there are going to be 20,000 people like running these companies? So a lot of them are just going to probably just fade away and go to zero. Who knows? I mean, we'll see. I feel like in a few years we'll have this conversation again, and only a handful of these will survive. And I mean, it depends.
But the problem
that build in the bear market, I think those ones. That's kind of how I gauge it. The ones that keep building throughout the bear market, those are the companies that the tokens that I buy, and the companies that I'll support, and the companies that'll probably make it in the end.
Yeah. That's why I'm so high on XRP. Like, we all are, because it's like, didn't Brad say they've done nothing but booming business ever since getting sued? Like, they dipped obviously right away because everyone was like, taken aback by it, but they've just done nothing but go up since then, and just have partners, and they're doing everything like worldwide. And when it comes to like when we were talking about everything going offshore, I don't think, I know a lot of it has, like 90% of like Ripple's business has gone offshore, but I don't see like Congress just letting such copious amounts of money just leave the country and then just be like, we'll be fine. You know what I mean? Because the US wants to be the leader in everything. So the fact that they're lagging so far behind on all this crypto stuff, like I feel like just because like they're all just like the US is like egotistical, or they're like, we got to be number one with everything, which is totally fine. They need to get it sorted so that they don't just literally just let all this money just walk into all these different countries.
I couldn't agree with you more. You are seeing a lot of money and a lot of jobs that are being developed right now that are outside the US, and they're saying it. In fact, if you look at I should play that. The Coinbase article literally said they had tried to approach the SEC 30 times in 2022 alone to work with them.
Wow.
They put out 57 articles about staking, right? And they say, so they did all these different things to try and get to ensure that they're doing things within regulation. And they said at the end of the day, 33 countries right now are working to create regulation. They've created documentation of regulation. 33 other countries. How many regulation clarity was created in the US? Laws? 0 right now. And they said potentially a loss of up to 1 million jobs because of it. Because all these, where are they going to go? Like Brad said, we have to operate outside the US. PJ just gave another. Jack Dorsey took all his programs to Costa Rica. Those are American jobs. The one thing the U.S. kind of had left was a little bit of, we have no manufacturing. We sold our souls to China on that one, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing the U.S. did have was innovation, creativity, development, design development. That was always the core infrastructure that we had left here in the U.S. And now even that's leaving. Is not a good thing for the U.S. I don't like where we're headed, Jenna. But I know you've got some predictions on where XRP can be going in your next article. Maybe we'll pull that.
I do. All right. I'm ready for you. I'm not going to talk about my whole New World Order conspiracy that I don't really think is a conspiracy, and how we're going to be controlled by CBDCs and UBIs and have our eyeballs scanned to be able to pay, and chips and all of that. I guess I won't talk about that. But here is the XRP.
You just got a shadow ban, so now I guess you could now, because we're going to be blocked on. We ain't going to be on this video. Won't be on YouTube anymore. That's right.
I'm never going to get monetized.
Gonna be like that.
So we have this XRP valuation model, and this whole white paper, I can't pull it up. My computer does not like it, will not let me open the actual document, but we have it up here on the screen, part of it. And Jimmy Valley, Molly Elmore, and some others in the XRP community came together, and they all wrote their own theories on why XRP could be, have a different valuation, all different ones. And they were basically trying to explain where fair market value is different than market value. And so they have their 6 quantitative models here, and it ranges anywhere from $9.81 to $513,000 per XRP. Now, I can't open and actually read all of this, but there was a thread on it to kind of determining why. It's a very, very long thread. But I just want to ask, what are your thoughts on this? What are your predictions for XRP? I'm not sure if you've, gotten a chance to jump into this or not.
So Jenna, before we kick it around the room, let me just give a little context in here. So this was a very, very highly controversial thing on Twitter, crypto Twitter, a few weeks ago, in terms of like the craziness of the U.S. government buying it back at 35,000, all that. And there's really no legitimacy behind that. But I think this article was more they were trying to predict if XRP were to service this piece of the market versus that piece of the market, then this is what the market cap would have to be. So with that context, yeah, I'd love to kick it around the room. Maybe go to PJ first or Angelina. I really don't care. We'll kick it around and kind of, what do you guys think? So you can see they've got predictions anywhere from $9.81 all the way up to $513,000 per XRP. So I'd love to get your thoughts on, on this show, we try to be realistic. Okay. So give us your thoughts. Angelina, kick it to you for ladies first. Kick it around to you. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Let's put some timing on this so it's not open-ended. Let's say within the next 5 years, what does your gut tell you what you think is a realistic target for XRP?
Listen, first of all, I just want to say if XRP goes to 513,000, my family is taken care of until the year 10,000.
Your grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren, right?
Oh, it's just going to be like never ending money for centuries.
Mhm.
Do I think that's possible? No. Here's the thing. Predictions are fun. You play with numbers, you hope, but it's like, who knows? Like, who really knows? Like, I mean, you could just Google, like, what's the cryptocurrency? What's the price of Doge going to be in 2024? And it's like not even close to what it is now. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just numbers. So as much as I love to see ridiculously high numbers for XRP, I just shut the emotions off. I don't try to get excited or nothing with that, because it's like, once again, like, who really knows? Like, I don't know. I mean, I those are some wonderful numbers. I mean, those are very high numbers. Is it possible? Of course, because anything's possible. But I mean, I don't know. Do I think it'll pass its all-time high in the next 5 years? Like, of course I do. I don't think it's going to happen like right after like when the lawsuit ends. I think it'll pump some. But I don't. I mean, those are some pretty whopping. Like $9 is a very fair, very fair. But then you watch other ones like this Pepe coin that just goes up 20,000% as soon as it hits the market. So you never know. You never know. I hope for the best with XRP, because that's my major one.
Mhm.
513,000 per XRP though. I mean, I don't know about that.
That would certainly set the family up for life. That's for sure. But PJ, curious if you have any thoughts, any predictions on your end, or what you think. I don't know if you're a big XRP holder or not. Is that one that you're into? Maybe start with that, and then tell us what you think it might or might not do.
Well, you guys are gonna hate me. I'm
He doesn't
not
like
a
it.
That's okay. We don't hate
Not a
anybody
big-
here.
But here's the thing, like it's not that I don't like it. I love the technology. I think the use case is fantastic. I think it'll definitely be used by banks in the future. I just don't trust banks. Looking at the code, it's not decentralized. It's not open source. There's like so many like backdoors built into this thing. I mean, that's not saying that. I mean, the use case is fantastic. I mean, the banks are going to use it to transport a lot of money around the world, and that's fantastic, right? So the price will go up, but there's no intrinsic value, right? There's 100 billion of these tokens, 50 billion, I think 48 billion of them are in escrow, which they can just dump on the market anytime they want. And if you look at supply and demand, more supply, less price. Down goes the price, right? So it doesn't really have it doesn't. And this is just me. This is just what I think. It's not a currency. It's a wonderful technology that'll move currencies around. But like I said, it's a banker's coin. If you look at Brad Garlinghouse, he's in with a WEF. I think that's a terrible, evil company. And once you have like meetings with these people, it means you work for them, basically. So I think my prediction, and sorry, I just think that this technology, looking at the code too, they're gonna transfer a lot of use it for world currencies, right? That if ever we get a CBDC, this is the technology that they're gonna use. And the CBDC, once we get CBDCs, it's game over for freedom, right? Because it's a spy coin. You can literally build in any backdoor into it. Like even if you keep it in cold storage, they can still drain your wallet by just implementing one tiny little API in the code. And I don't know. So it's the technology is amazing, and I do trade it. I made a lot of money off it in 2017. I made a fuck ton of, excuse my language. I made some really good money on it, and I like trading it because it's volatile. Like I used to trade stocks, but stocks are so boring. Like they move so slow. Like gold moves incredibly slow. Like I love trading XRP. I trade it almost every day. I'm a day trader. I just won't buy and hold it.
Yeah.
Can I piggyback on that WEF thing? So when I heard that like Brad was in with the WEF, I was just like, no, but then it's like those people are not going to let themselves get screwed.
Bingo.
So if they're like, this is what we like, this is what we use, I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to piggyback off of that, because you guys are not going to, let yourselves go to zero. So it's kind of like against everything that, we like believe in. And, it's like, we don't trust them, but it's also like, yeah, you kind of kind of got to see what's going on behind the scenes. And if they feel safe in it and they're not going to let themselves get screwed, then I don't mind, trailing behind on that a little bit.
Sorry. I agree. I mean, it's never going to go to zero. It's never going to go to zero. There's a difference between price and value, right? To me, there's no intrinsic value. The price might go up and down and stuff, and the technology will always be used. Those billionaires, the WEF guys, they will use that technology to transfer their assets and their wealth into other currencies. Like it gives them a tool to be even more shady than they already are. You know, like and the price will fluctuate once they use this technology, and it's never going to go to zero. The price will go up and down, but price and value is completely two different things.
Yeah, how do you think it's going to go?
That bottom one, $9. I mean, according to my charts, one day maybe I'll pull out my charts and show you guys. I think $5.89. That was my high, but I don't know the timeline when that's going to happen. And I mean that's just if you denominate it into dollars, right? I mean the dollar's going down at an alarming rate right now. Like what is inflation? And we look at inflation. You have to equate that, right? In 10 years from now, the dollar is going to be worth like almost nothing. So that $9 in 10 years from now will be worth like, I don't know, like $3 in today's value.
Right. Yeah. You know what? I could not agree with you more. We've been saying all the time that this is the narrative. For a year, we've been saying this is the narrative you're going to hear from the world, right? That crypto is bad because CBD is good. They're going to try to convince all the people in the world, right? The big boys, the West and all them, that crypto's bad. Stay away from it, right? You're going to lose your money. Look what happened to FTX or what happened to Atomic, but hey, come here. CBDC, great. Protects you. You get everything you want. Oh, but we're not going to tell you that social credit score. Yeah. Oh, yours is bad. You don't get so much this month. And oh, by the way, it expires in 3 weeks. So you better spend it all. I mean, we know. And then, oh yeah, you can't spend it here, but you can spend it there. This is the dangers of CBDCs, right? We know there's a lot of, like you said, the end of freedom. And so let's hope to God, we've seen some states, like we know Florida passed a bill saying no CBDCs allowed here. And again, I don't know if that's going to hold up in federal court, but good kudos to Florida and DeSantis. But there is going to be a big battle coming on CBDCs at some point in time, I think, PJ. And the question is, who's going to win that battle? And, I kind of always go back to what Angelina said. We know who's running the world. We know where the big boys are. And we know if something's happening over there, I kind of look at it this way. I don't like what they're going to use XRP for, but if it's going to appreciate in value, then why not, in this case, put yourself in a position to own the rails of the future, what's going to come in the future, because it's coming. There ain't no way we can stop it. Sooner or later, you said it. They're going to use, PJ, you said it. They're going to use that system, XRP in this particular case, to transfer money, to move, fastest things around the world. It's going to be there. It's going to be their system. Well, why not put ourselves in a position to generate, put ourselves to great generational wealth on the future rails of those systems that are coming? That's kind of how I'm thinking about it or playing it. And whether it's $5 or $8 or $10, I think those are all realistic price targets. When I hear these things like 10,000 and 589 and 13,000 and 35,000, those guys are all smoking crap. I don't know what they're smoking, but to me, though, I don't see a Chinaman's chance in China of that happening. But do we have a chance of $5 or $10? Maybe even as high as 20? If it's really servicing the world, yeah, that's probably possible. I think 5, 10, 50. Listen, I made a big mistake back in 1997. I bought Amazon at $17. It went up to $27. I thought I was the best, smartest stock trader in the world. And I sold it all, right? $10 profit. Holy shit, this is great, right? Sold it all. If I had held it, I wouldn't know any of you guys right now because I'd be a multi-millionaire. It went to $3,300 about 2 years ago, right? Point being is we're in so early that some of these are really going to go high at some point in time. We don't know when, right? That utility, when it's going to happen. But the important thing is don't do what I did. Don't sell everything. Make sure you hold on to some of this stuff and have an exit plan so you can get out, scale up. And right now, we're going to show you the smartest way to track your crypto.
Have you gotten wrecked in the crypto market space or watched your crypto portfolio go all the way up and then all the way down without taking profits? If so, it's probably because you didn't have an exit plan. The good news is that doesn't need to happen anymore thanks to a new and innovative crypto tracker called Merlin. It's the smartest way to track your crypto. Merlin brings all your coins into one place so you can see all your assets across the different exchanges on one screen. You can see your total portfolio value and, more importantly, your daily gains, losses, and totals since inception. Merlin puts the power back in your hands so you no longer have to guess what your portfolio is doing on a daily or monthly basis. Most importantly, Merlin lets you create an exit plan and sends you notifications when your targets are reached so you no longer have to get wrecked in the marketplace. Go to merlincrypto.com, that's merlincrypto.com, and sign up for our free 30-day trial and get on the wait list so you can receive an email when the product is launched. Don't miss out on this new and innovative app, Merlin. It's the smartest way to track your crypto.
That was smooth, Johnny.
That's right, Jenna. It is the smartest way to track your crypto, guys. Have an exit plan so you don't get wrecked. Click on the link below or go to www.merlincrypto.com. Get a free 30-day trial to try it out when we launch it. Get on the wait list now, guys, because at the end of the day, don't be like Johnny Crypto. Don't lose all your money. Don't sell everything. Have an exit plan so you know how to get out.
That's why he made an app.
And that's why we made an app to help everybody. And hopefully in the next month or two, it'll be out there. But for people on the wait list, you will have early access to be able to try and beta test it. So get on that wait list and give it a shot. And with that said, Jenna, actually, before we kick it over to wrestling, I just want to go around the room and see if you guys, what you guys' thoughts are. Do you guys have exit plans? How are you playing the crypto space? Angelina, let's start with you.
Listen, when Doge went up to like 75 cents, I had a lot that I could have. That's when I was very, very new and not knowledgeable at all. Yeah. So I was just like, woo, it's going up. It's just going to keep going. And I definitely should have sold at least 50% that I had. But I didn't. And now I regret that because it just sucks watching that thing just floating around at 7 cents. So it is very, I have learned through trial and error, like we all do. Mm-hmm. That I definitely should have exited. I took out my initial investment, which I thought was like real smart to do, but I also could have taken out an extra 20K and I didn't. So, and I do regret that. So I'm just, it is very smart to have an exit plan.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you know what? Everybody does it. We all did it, especially in the 2021 bull run. We all watched our accounts go all the way up and we're like, hey, it's going to keep going. And it came all the way back down and we were to exit liquidity if you didn't get out. So it's so important to have that exit plan. How do you play the so are you like so I know you said you're a day trader, but do you also have a bucket on the side where you're a hodler as well, PJ, or and how are you playing that portion or that bucket? Are you an exit plan there?
I have a few strategies. I day trade and I have a I have a conservative account and I have a gambling account where I use lots of leverage and play around with
100x. You're loving them 50x's and 100x leverages. Right.
But here's the thing: like, even if you're the best trader in the world or the best macroeconomist, you can never call the top and the exact bottoms ever, right? So as you DCA into these things, DCA out of it too. Just take profits. It depends on your risk management. Take profits at different areas. I mean, if you look at the cycles, everything works in cycles, right? Everything in life goes in cycles. Everything. So if you look at the we have the Bitcoin halving coming up in 25, so we know we're going to go into a bull run, right? So this happens like every roughly every 4 years. So just take profits when you see those coins at all-time highs. Like, set yourself a little goal, right? Like you DCA in, DCA out. I mean, and like you said too, leave a little bit in there because you never know when that thing is going to run, because it might. You never know. So just take profits. Some people, I think Warren Buffett, he says he takes profits as soon as it hits 5 or 6%. Some other guys wait till 10%, some guys wait till 2%. But those guys play with billions of dollars. Like 2% of billions of dollars is millions of dollars. So for them, it's easier to take profits. So like we know the bull run is coming eventually. I feel like this all this SEC stuff going on right now, they're trying to slow it down. But eventually it's going to happen. So, when Bitcoin is the sun of the solar system. So when this runs, everything else is going to run too, because that's just people like transferring liquidity back and forth through these things. So when Bitcoin hits a roughly an all-time high or goes close to 100K or whatever it's going to go next time, just take profits on all your coins.
Yeah. Couldn't agree with you more. Well said. I think at the end of the day, you have to know that, take some profits, scale out on the way up. Nobody knows where the top is. That's why you keep a small bag, what we call a moon bag, in case it takes off. And if it doesn't, nonetheless, if you're, you can't, nobody ever lost money taking profits, right? And that's really the key to play that game. With that said, Jenna, we're running. Wow, we blew through an hour already. So let's hop into our last topic of the night, which is going. Oh yes, go ahead.
Before we hit our WWE predictions, I just want to know what is Angelina's next match and when is PJ's next match?
Yes, let's talk about that.
Well, we just filmed and the Crockett Cup here in Winston-Salem this past weekend. So that's for NWA. That's a big tag team tournament. Oh, it's a big tag team tournament. So I just did outside matches. My fiance was in it though.
Nice.
PJ was him and Flip as a team.
Awesome.
Oh wow, that must be cool. That must be awesome.
Yeah, they did great. And then we have a show the last Sunday of the month. It's AML. It's like a big wrestling show in North Carolina. And then we've got more NWA shows coming up in July. And then Billy Corgan, the singer for the Smashing Pumpkins, he's the president of NWA. So he's been incorporating having NWA shows at the Smashing Pumpkins concerts. So there's some of those coming up in August and September that we should be a part of too. So that's going to be really badass.
Yes, awesome. I think I actually have is it Heroes and Villains? Is that what it's called, the next one? Or is that a different one?
What, the AML show?
Oh, that's July 27th. Sorry, never mind. That's further down the road.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking on your page there. Okay, cool. Awesome. And PJ, where can folks see you in your next match?
Oh yeah, I've been taking just random independent bookings all over the world, like places that I really want to go visit. I got a match coming up in France, in Nice, France next month, which I'm very excited about. I got Miami and Jamaica. I've wrestled in 65 countries actually. Jamaica.
Holy shit, you're like Ripple, dude. You're like all the countries, like you and Brad. I love it.
Jamaica will be my 66. I got Jamaica coming up next month, and then the France date, and then quiet for a couple of weeks, and then Spain. So I'm gonna have a lot of so it should be a fun summer actually.
What an amazing way to travel the world. That's awesome.
Right?
You get paid for it.
Get paid for it. Never paid for a ticket in my life.
Get paid to see the world, man. It doesn't get better than that, does it?
Man, I regret not ever trying to be a WWE diva now.
You could easily be a W.
Johnny, I passed my expiration date. No, I can't do it.
I don't know about that. Angelina, come on, give us she can still get. We can get her at least as a manager.
Angelina can coach me.
Easily.
You heard that, Jenna? Easily.
I agree.
We gotta start with some workouts first.
Look at
All right. Okay. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. I like the encouragement.
That's my girl.
You guys are good.
Cool. That's awesome. With that said, then we'll end the show hopping into our last topic of the night, which will be WWE. We have Money in the Bank coming up. This when is that coming up? What's the date? July 1st. All right. So what we like to do here, guys, around this session is we'll typically look at the matches for that event, and then we just go around the room and give our prediction of who we think is going to win. And for Jenna, it's pretty easy. She just picks the hot guy. So, we'll kind of go around the room and see what we got. So what's our first matchup there? It looks like Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, the heavyweight match. All right, so let's start with ladies first. So we'll go to Angelina Love. Angelina, what do you think in this Seth versus Brock Lesnar match? Who walks away with the title there?
I mean, I would say Seth's probably going to keep it. I feel like normally I would be like, oh, well, it's Brock Lesnar, of course. But it's like, I don't know if that's the route they're going with Brock anymore. You know what I mean? And he's had the title so many times. It wouldn't really do either of them any good for him to take it from Seth. So I think they'll probably keep it on Seth. Okay.
So we got Seth for Angelina. All right. PJ, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I don't really follow the storylines and such, but if I was the booker, this is what I'll do. Cody's probably going to win the Money in the Bank because he lost at WrestleMania. So, I mean, it's inevitable that he's going to get the title eventually, and he's probably going to win it. The only person that he can win it from is Seth, because remember they had that little back and forth, that best out of 3 when he came back. So he's probably going to beat Seth for it, and then Roman's going to take it from him, or Brock is going to take it from him. So that's my prediction.
Interesting. All right, Jenna, go ahead. We know you're going to pick the hot guy, so go ahead.
Well, I'm going with Seth Rollins for that.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Of course. There we go. All right, so I'll tell you my prediction, but I got to ask this. Here's the problem. So I love wrestling. I've been watching it before Jenna was even born. And PJ, you might have been in diapers when I was watching Hogan on Saturday mornings and stuff like that. So I love wrestling. But the one thing that kills me is it's become to the point where it's too predictable. Like, I know they just gave Seth the belt, right? They just literally gave it to him like 2 weeks ago. When he beat AJ Styles, right? So you just know that the WWE doesn't operate in a way where winning it 1 month, he's not going to lose it a month later. And to me, I would love to see, and maybe you guys, because you're in the space, could tell me why. So in real world, when you watch a football game, any team could beat any team the next week. Like, you don't know. It's great seeing an underdog beat, right? But in wrestling, it always just feels like you kind of know, like, nah, they're not going to have him drop the belt. He just won it. And so I just feel for that reason, because he just got it, he isn't going to drop it. But is there something I don't understand about why they don't create more of this, like, hey, let's do something unexpected and let the other guy win and fool everybody?
Good question. I used to ask that all the time, because it's like anytime John Cena came down the ramp, you knew he was going to win.
You knew he's going to win.
Like in TNA, anytime Gail came down the ramp, you knew she was going to win. So it's like you have to do some things that shock the people, or else they just won't be too into it. They won't be as into it. You know what I mean? Right. Like, you have to do some things on the side and a little bit outside of the norm to kind of wake people up and be like, oh, like, did that really just happen? Like, I wasn't expecting that. It kind of sparks attention and sparks interest.
Yes.
But no, you're not. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong with that. There are some times where it's just like, it's very predictable.
That's very true. But in the same breath, right, I see it just like stocks and everything else. It kind of breathes, and there's like these cycles. Like, we go through these stages where the same guys win, and then for a few years, like, there's a bunch of like changes and shock factor. You know, like when Jinder Mahal won the title, and then who won it off him, and then there was like these quick changes, and now we're back in the bull run, I guess.
Well, the bear market. You know, it's funny because those quick changes, they keep you engaged. You're excited. You're like, hey, you never know what's going to happen. You know, like Game of Thrones is so great because they kill off the main character. You're like, holy shit, they just killed off the main character. I got to watch this next week, right? But if you just see the same thing, like we all knew, I think we had Angelina on like 6 months ago, and we knew Roman Reigns had like, I don't know, he was around 920 days. And we're like, there is no way they're going to let him drop the belt until he gets to the 1,000. It's like so predictable. So, like, why even watch it? Like, you know who's going to win. So I'm just wondering, is there something behind the scenes, PJ? Is there another reason? Is it an ego thing? Is it a money thing? What is it that these guys don't want, to create that uncertainty that keeps the fan that engaged?
I mean, it's a combination of all those things, right? And when I was in WWE my first year, I did 300 shows my first year. So a lot of things can happen on the day. A lot of things change on the day. A lot of results change in the match. Like, sometimes someone in the match who wasn't, it happens all the time. Someone get injured, or like, life happens. Things happen like all the time. I mean, look at Undertaker. No one thought his streak was ever going to be broken, and then Brock broke it. You got to like wait for that moment. And again, bringing it back to crypto, it's like, you don't know when it's going to happen. Like, that's why I kind of feel like XRP is going to have a massive run in the next few years. And then I cannot wait. Probably the next bull run, but like, that's just how you keep people on their toes. Like right now we're like, oh, nothing's happening. It's boring. And the next thing you know, like boom, 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 boom. So many things changes, but who knows, like so many things can change.
Yeah. No, that's interesting to hear you say that. I didn't know it could change within the match. I always thought it was kind of determined. Like, we know, okay, we're gonna put a good show. Well, we all know it's entertainment, and like, we're gonna put a good show, and then this is, you're gonna end up winning. I didn't know it could change right there.
Well, that's almost what happened when I won my first major title, because I was unconscious when I won. I got a really bad concussion in that match, and they were going to put the title on me, and we knew that. Okay. And then when they knew that I was completely out with my eyes open, they were calling into the ref's earpiece, put it on the other girl, we'll just put it on Angelina at TV. But it still ended up going as it was, because I just ended up pinning somebody. I had no idea what I was doing. But that's why we all have to know how to ad lib. Because it's like anything can happen live on TV, and you got to know how to just be able to cover it up and go to the next thing without making it too obvious to the fans watching, but you never know.
Wow, that's fascinating. Fascinating information. That's good. Good to know. Thanks for sharing. But cool. So, all right. With that said, we'll hop on to the next match. So next we have the Money in the Bank ladder match. So we got a ton of people here. I won't read all the names, but we'll go around the room and see who. So I think PJ, you already said, was you or Angelina? You had said you thought Cody Rhodes would win the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, he's definitely going to win it, and he might even cash it in on Seth as he or whoever wins the main event. They might cash it
Now,
in. Right
see,
there.
that would be awesome. That would be great.
Right?
Like
And that's
maybe
happened
Brock
before.
win. How
And
cool
that's
would that
happened
be?
before.
How cool would that be?
Seth,
If Brock, yeah, go ahead.
right, sorry. So I mean, Seth cashed it in at WrestleMania once, and no one thought he was even going to be there. And I mean, that happens. That's what's cool about the Money in the Bank. Like you said, it gets boring for a while, and then that shock factor happens, and that's why we have the Money in the Bank ladder matches.
So
I remember being in one of those matches in 2014. I was in that match. It was fantastic. Oh wow, it was so much fun, those matches.
It was far. So theoretically, you're saying it's possible that Cody could win that match, then Seth maybe gets beat the hell out by Brock, but somehow wins it, right? And then Cody comes in and steals it from him. That same night, you could cash the Money in the Bank in the same night. I can't remember.
That's my prediction. That's my guess.
That would be freaking awesome, man. Now, see, I'll watch it just for that. I hope that happens. Angelina, what's your thoughts? Who wins this Money in the Bank ladder match?
I mean, I think that makes sense because I'm just looking at like a gun. This looks so weird. Like Ricochet's written twice, Nakamura's written twice, Matt Riddle's in it, but he's also in the Intercontinental Championship match. So I have no idea. Yeah, but I mean, Cody makes sense for sure.
Yeah. All right. So you're thinking Cody. Okay. And Jenna, how about what's your thoughts? Who walks away with the Money in the Bank ladder match?
Edge.
Edge. Okay. All right.
I'm going Edge.
So she must be a hot guy in there. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Okay.
I've liked Edge for a long time.
Yeah.
So
of course. Yeah. There it goes. I kind of agree. I agree that I think they're pushing Cody right now. Cody's getting a push. And if you think about it, they just put the belt on Seth. Cody and Seth are both on Raw. And so I don't think they're going to. And Roman is, Roman now has had his reign. He got his 1,000 days. Maybe they're at the point now where like, okay, and Roman's part-time now anyway. He can go and feud off with the bloodline. My guess is maybe they let Seth keep it there. And maybe Cody wins this. Then he can, I think with Money in the Bank, you could cash that on either show. Maybe he goes and he cashes on Roman Reigns at some point, and maybe that's how Reigns loses the belt. I don't know. That's my guess, but who the hell knows? We'll find out. We'll see. And then Roman can go off with Usos and go. They could all fight each other, and they could build out that whole bloodline battle that they just started. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Next up is the Money in the Bank ladder match for the women. We'll start with the women. Angelina, your thoughts on who may walk away with this Money in the Bank match?
I'm gonna say it's between Zelina and Bailey.
Okay.
I don't see Becky. Now Becky could win it because she would be like the star of the match. Yeah. But once again, it's like she doesn't need to. You know what I mean? So gotcha. Zelina's hot right now. They're giving her a good push, and then Bailey's. I think that would be something really good to spark up Bailey some. So I can't pick one, so I'm just gonna say maybe between those two.
Between those two. So PJ, do they typically use these Money in the Bank to kind of push the younger generation or the younger, like maybe an up and comer that they want to give a shot at? Is that kind of how they use this, or you can go to anybody?
Yeah, it really just depends, right? Like somebody that they need to push, or like for this match, it's so hard to call for me because I can't see which way they're thinking about the agenda they're trying to push. It'll probably be Zelina. But it could also be Bailey. I don't know. That's a tough one to call. But I mean, it really depends. It changes so often too. There's so many writers, and Vince can just wake up on the wrong side of the bed one day and be like, "Oh, that guy."
Vince wake up, call up Triple H. Yo, man, I'm changing the game plan on your trips.
He's back in charge, because that was the new deal. Because it's WWE is owned by what's the company?
Yeah, the one that owns UFC begins with a E,
right.
I think.
And that was put in the deal. Like Vince needs to run it until he retires or dies. That was the actual deal.
From what, and there's been a lot of argument and speculation of how much control does Vince really have. Vince has come out and said Triple H is still running it, but I have a little say. But who the hell knows? But you're right. They all said, the big guys said they wanted Vince back in charge, but nobody, all the wrestlers, it seems like what I'm hearing is they all hate, nobody wants Vince in charge of creative. Is there a reason why they hate him? Because didn't Vince kind of build the WWE?
I don't know. Like I have a completely different outlook. Like I love him. I think he's fantastic. Like he's a self-made billionaire. There's not a lot of like how many self-made billionaires on this planet. I think he's fantastic.
Wow.
All my interactions with him has been fantastic. I don't know what the fans are complaining at. I mean, this whole company wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him.
Exactly. And by the way, he's got the best billionaire walk entrance I've ever seen. I used to love when they hit his, he'd come walking down the ring like the billionaire. I loved it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird like that, but I thought he had a great walk. Jenna, what's your thought? Who do you think wins this women's Money in the Bank ladder match?
I don't know. I'm just going to go with Zelina. I'm more concerned. Like, I'm trying to figure out between Asuka and Bianca for the Raw Women's Championship. That one's tough for me to try to figure out because I know they're trying to give Bianca a push, but Asuka's been wrestling for a really long time. So what do you guys think?
So for a ladder in the match, I'm going to go with Bayley. I'm kind of thinking Bayley. That's my gut on the women's ladder in the match. But we'll switch on. So we all made our picks. We'll switch to the Intercontinental Championship. We got Gunther versus Matt Riddle. Let's start with you on that one, PJ. What's your thoughts with Gunther versus Matt?
That could go either way too. I love Matt Riddle; he's fantastic. But isn't Gunther on some crazy roll too? I mean, how many days has he been champ? So I mean, maybe if they don't do the cash in for the shock value, maybe they'll switch this one for the shock value because I mean this show needs a little bit of a shock value.
Got to give us some shocks. So give us come on, Vince, shock us somewhere. Angelina, what's your thoughts? Who do you think wins this Gunther Riddle match?
I think they'll keep it on Gunther, just because he's been doing everything to make them happy, and I think this push is kind of like them showing him like you've done all the right things and we're appreciative, and I think they're going to just keep going with it because he's also been getting a lot of attention online for like the big physical changes that he's made, and they that's shown a lot, so I think they'll keep it on him.
I couldn't agree with you more. I know he's lost a ton of weight. They asked him to do everything. He's done everything they asked him to do. And I did read somewhere that Triple H, one of those like kind of rumor mill back page wrestling things, that Triple H absolutely loves him and loves his performance in the ring. I guess he's a really good technical in the ring wrestler as well. I don't think he's that great on the mic personally, but then again, but I do think that they certainly have a high, very high on him. I can't see them giving it off to Matt Riddle. I agree with you. I think Gunther will walk away in this one for those reasons. But again, I don't know like if it's one of those things where, hey, you're doing what we're saying, so we're going to reward you. Is it kind of a loyalty thing? Do you guys both work for WWE. Is there that kind of a thing in the background? Is there like a loyalty? Hey, you do what we say, we're going to give you the push. Does that kind of exist in the back room?
Definitely. Back in the day, that definitely existed. These days, not since it's corporate and there's so many sponsorships involved, not so much anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, Jenna, your thoughts? Gunther and Riddle. Who are you going with?
I'm just gonna go with Gunther.
Okay.
I'm going with Angelina on that. Okay.
All right. And we got just two more left. We've got Asuka versus Bianca Belair. We're our women's champion. Any thoughts now? Angelina, your thoughts real quick?
I don't know because like this could be one of those things where they got to have the shock value because I think Asuka just won it at the last pay-per-view. So they just put the title on her.
Yes.
But I don't know how much they want to run with that because they love Bianca. So that could have just been a quick shock thing to then just put it back on Bianca.
Yes. Okay. Makes sense. PJ, your thoughts?
I know I've said this for every single match, but this one really could go either way. I mean, both those ladies are fantastic, beautiful, like so talented. I think this depends on the first match. If the baby faces go over in the first match, it'll probably be Asuka to retain.
Yeah, makes sense. Jenna, your thoughts?
Every time I pick Bianca, like she wins, but I just feel like I'm going to have to give somebody else a chance. So I'm going to go with
Asuka. So you're the reason why she would. That makes sense.
It's me.
It's you. Okay. So you're going to give it to Asuka?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of think the same. I'm going to go with you guys. And then we'll wrap this up with the last match of the night. We got Roman Reigns. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Roman Reigns and his cousin Solo versus Solo's brothers, the Usos. Big blood feud happening here. This is exciting one. Angelina, who's going to win this one?
This one's tough.
Oof.
This one's tough. If Roman and Solo lose, Solo's definitely taking the pin. Because they might want to push the Usos for the big turn on Roman. You know, it's really tough though. That's really tough. This is why I don't bet on sports, because I always make I always make the wrong prediction. I think Roman and Solo will probably win.
Roman's all right. PJ, your thoughts?
For me, Usos, hands down. They need it. They need it for a little push. Roman has been champ forever. He doesn't need any of it. Solo is kind of just there, and he'll get his push eventually. The Usos, easy for me.
Okay, great. Jenna, your thoughts?
I will always pick Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
I don't care. I just always will.
All right, I'm not even coming to you anymore when Roman.
Don't even. Yeah, just don't even ask.
All right, so here's my prediction. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking in this match, Solo finally turns on Roman, gives him one of the thumbs in the neck kind of thing. Because it's his brothers, right? Give him the old, I forgot what they call it, the Samoan throat, whatever the hell, I forgot what he calls it. Yeah, it's a spike right into. I kind of see it happening. Solo gives it, because it's his brothers, gives it a thing, and then one of the Usos pin Reigns, and now you can have a big, like you said, then they get their push, so because that's the bait. That would be the face turn, right? People would, I think, love Solo and the Usos if they turn, and then you got this huge feud between Roman and the rest of it. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I hope happens, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it goes.
That's a good call, because then Roman will probably take off some time, because I know he's due to take off some time soon. So that's a good call.
Think about it, right? Hit him, pin him, then he's out for a while, and then the Usos all get their run. So that'll be exciting. So we'll have to wait to see how it pans out, guys. But I do want to say thank you all very, very much, Angelina and PJ Black, for being on the show tonight.
Thank you.
We really loved having you on the show. Appreciate you guys being here. We're going to end the show. There we go on that note. And like we always like to say, Warriors, rise. Get your shit together, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you, guys.